Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 34 of our Let's Play series for Football Manager 2016. Alrighty, today is going to be a bit of a Holland day, Holland episode I should say, not Holland day. So we're going to check out you guys might have seen in the last episode, just took over the Holland coaching job, or the managing job there. So we are now in control of Holland, and they're not doing too well. They've dropped a long way in the rankings. So if you're looking here, they've actually just missed out on qualifying for the World Cup, which would be, I suppose it could almost happen in real life, couldn't it? So a bit of a disaster if it happens. So it looks like we're sort of the only major nation that's missed out, I suppose, apart from Turkey. I suppose Scotland's in there, Poland as well, but Poland never makes it, do they? Yeah, we're pretty much the only other major nation, probably apart from Turkey, that hasn't made it. So we missed out by a full game, by 3 points. So obviously I wasn't in charge, I've only just taken over, so that's what it is. So we're not going to have a whole lot of games for Holland for a little while, which is probably not a bad thing. Got a couple of friendlies lined up, and then nothing else lined up for next year's yet. So I suppose we'll have like Euro qualifiers and all that kind of stuff coming up soon. So it could be a little bit quiet for Holland for a while, but we're just going to run through a bit of a look about the setup, the players, the staff, all that kind of stuff, see if there's any changes we're going to make. And yep, all that kind of stuff, so that should be good. Alrighty, looking at the squad here. So I actually did have a bit of a run through it off camera, just so I didn't sort of take too much of this time looking at it, this squad, and actually do have a pretty decent squad. I'm pretty impressed with it, really. I think there's actually a lot of talent here. I think it's fairly solid across the park. There's only a couple of sort of really standout players in like Memphis Depay, and Stefan DeVries, obviously very, very good. Wesley Schneider and Arjen Robben still actually quite good as well. Haven't really lost a lot of their stats and stuff, so they should still be able to do a job for us in the future, which is good. Yeah, so I think actually it's a really quite a good team. It'd be good to get Silerson back in as the goalkeeper. I think he's probably still the strongest goalkeeper out of these three guys, Vermeer, Krul, and Drone Zoet. Don't know how to pronounce that. Zoet. Anyway, yeah, so it'd be good to get Silerson back in because I think he's probably be our number one goalie in there. In terms of our right backs, we've got a lot of options here, so probably actually drop a couple of these guys, I think. Probably got 4 options here, we're definitely not need them all. So Sven van Beek, probably going to keep him in this squad as a centre-back, even though it says right-back, best position there. Kenny T, I think, is probably ended up being maybe our first choice, probably either him or Jan Matt, which probably be our first choice right-back. I think Vanderville isn't really, he's not really up for it to me. He's never really doesn't play a huge amount for PSG anymore either, like in the game, and yeah, so I think he's probably actually going to be dropped. I think he's probably going to end up going out. We'll keep Kenny T and Daryl Janmaat in as the right backs. Sven van Beek is going to be staying in as a centre back. We've got Dykes and Riedewald as left backs, which is actually quite interesting because Riedewald's obviously more. Like I played him at Ajax as a centre back, but he's gone to Arsenal and plays as a left back at Arsenal, so he's not really an attacking left back, but he's sort of a really defensively solid left back. So that's really something interesting that we could actually modify maybe our tactics to actually make sure that we're really sort of solid down the left, maybe sort of tackle a bit more down the right and maybe take advantage of that. Just try and be a little bit more solid. We'll see. We'll see anyway. So he's obviously only 21. He can still improve, which is quite good. I've got Dykes in there as well, so quite a bit of a step down, I guess, in terms of stats from Riedewald, but he does do really quite well for Ajax. So, and he's probably a little bit more rounded than like we've got Boylerson as well. He's I can't play for him, can he? Because he's Denmark. Danish, so he can't play for us. So normally complete. I'm just thinking about Ajax there. So that's fine. So right, in terms of our centre backs, we've got Sven van Beek, we're going to play as a centre back. Karim Rekic, we've got Stefan DeVries and Martins Indy. So there's probably our 4 centre backs. So out of those, I'm not really quite sure. Probably Martins Indy and Stefan DeVries, I think. Although maybe Sven van Beek potentially. If he improves a little bit, probably needs a little bit of work of his tackling, his positioning. Like if we compare him to Martins Indy, like we've got 16, 16, 15, like for those, just that's for those 3 stats. I know that's not everything, but Martins Indy for me is a very, very good defender, like really good strength, decent heading as well, which is something we lack sort of in the Holland team, sort of generally a smaller side. Some really good mentors in there as well, and obviously Stefan DeVries is a brilliant player. So Stefan DeVries is going to be our number 1. He's going to be our main man for a number of years, and I think Martins Indy will be the second choice. Then we have Sven van Beek, and then Rekic I think will be third. May even look at bringing another centre back because for me, Rekic is a little bit lacking, if you will, especially like composure, positioning. Physicals are good. His marking and tackling are fairly good, but his positioning and his composure are sort of concerns for me. So I'm thinking. Excuse me. I think we may actually look at bringing in maybe a 4th choice centre back, someone younger, and actually give a bit of experience. Maybe look at one of the Ajax guys, maybe someone like Veltman or someone like that. Alrighty, so we're going to actually play. I think we're going to play the Ajax formation. So we're going to play this formation that we've been playing with Ajax. So if we can actually load it up here. Alright, I'll do that in a minute. I'll set up the taxis and stuff, probably off camera. Anyway, we're going to be playing sort of the same formation that we play at Ajax. We're going to actually be playing this formation. It's not necessarily, it could mean bad things for Wesley Sneijder because he's sort of obviously an AMC, but I think in terms of our overall formation, I think this is a little bit better. I'm a little bit more comfortable playing this, and obviously because we've spent quite a bit of time in Ajax actually tweaking this, and I think this is going to work. Sort of not, doesn't really matter the stage. I think it's going to work really well. So obviously, I suppose Sneijder can actually play centre as well. There we go. He can. He's a natural midfield centre. That's fine. He can play there. Alright, so we've looked for our centre mids, probably lacking some defensive mids. I think is probably the biggest thing. We've got Jordy Classy, but for me he's probably not really quite good for a defensive mid, like a deep playing playmaker. His defensive stuff's probably not quite good enough. Strootman's obviously definitely a centre player, though he looks like he's lost a bit of his physical stats being injured so much for Roma, although it looks like he's back. He's been playing a little bit this season, so maybe he's not going to be the player that he was, which is a bit unfortunate. I think Jordy Classy is quite a good player. Probably in the centre, I suspect, in the midfield area, who'll end up playing. He's a little bit more of an attacking player for me. Who have we got here? Quincy Promes. So he's an attacking midfielder right. We'll look at him in a minute. And Jean-Paul, also attacking midfielder right, so that's fine. Yeah, so we've got Classy, Sneijder, Strootman, Van Ginkel. And he's probably more of an attacking player as well. I suppose a bit of a box to box, though his tackling isn't that amazing. So I'm probably looking for a really top quality DM if we can get one, a deep playing playmaker. Otherwise, I'm probably going to be forced to use Jordy Classy in that role, which I'm not really super happy about. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll maybe keep an eye out for a good Dutch DM if we can find them. But if not, we'll just make do. So in terms of our attacking guys, we've got Arjen Robben. Probably our number one attacker, I think, still on the right. So he's 33, but his physicals haven't declined that much, which is actually quite good. Obviously, he's a brilliant player. And yeah, still playing with Bayern, which is good. So that is awesome. We've got Memphis Depay on the left. He's going to be probably our kingpin. So he's playing with Atletico at the moment and being an absolute machine there. So that is really good. He's a brilliant player. So yeah, I think we're really well stocked. Probably our wide attacking players are probably the strongest part of the team. Actually lacking in strikers. We'll get to that in a minute. So we got Memphis Depay, Arjen Robben. We had Quincy Promes who can play on the right out here, and he looks like a pretty decent player, fairly quick. Some good finishing and stuff like that. Good off the ball as well. So he probably actually will stay in the squad, I suspect. Jean-Paul, he can play in a couple of roles, although maybe I'm thinking, because he's very strong on his right foot. So I think even we've already got Robben and Quincy Promes on the right. I think Jean-Paul is going to actually be the backup to Memphis on the left. So yeah, probably have him on the left. Sam de Jong, a little bit. Sam de Jong might end up missing out, unfortunately, given we don't play as that AMC role. I don't think he's good enough to play as a striker. We don't really play with him out on the right. I think we're actually going to adjust our tactics to actually go away from the advanced playmaker and actually go back to the inside forward, given that's what Robben and Quincy Promes are better at. So with Ajax, we had the advanced playmaker in the attacking midfielder right role, but that's sort of just because of the players that we have, like Lasse Schöne and now Sam de Jong plays like that. So that's what we've got there. All right, in terms of strikers, I think definitely the weakest part of the squad. So we've got Luc de Jong here. He's fairly decent striker for me. He's not particularly amazing though. I think there probably should be someone better that we can potentially get. Michael Delou, not a bad striker, 31 though. Actually hasn't picked up a cap before, so he's only going to be a backup. So that's obviously what the squad is at the moment. I haven't really gone through and scouted everyone out yet. I'll do that sort of off camera, guys. Might make some changes to the squad and actually start bringing in probably some younger players as well, and try and get a few different people in. So we've got a fair bit of talent sort of everywhere. Obviously looking at under 21s, there's quite a bit of talent here. A lot of Ajax players in here as well, which is quite good. So I'm actually probably start giving some of these guys caps. And taking advantage of the fact that I control both Ajax and the Netherlands, and we can get our guys some caps, which is going to help their development and all that kind of stuff. So international caps are very, very good for development. So that would be good. So Donny van de Beek's fairly good. So we could actually end up nearly using him as a DM. I mean, he's not really quite there yet. He's got some development to go. Only 20 years old, but he's actually not bad in that DM. It could free up for us to use actually Classy in that midfield role, because I think Strootman maybe not. So I'm thinking maybe at the moment, maybe someone like Donny van de Beek or someone else in the deep lane playmaker role. Move Classy up to like a box to box. but he's still sort of a bit more attacking minded. And then have someone like Schneider in that sort of central midfield attacking role that we have in the tactic that we play with Ajax, and that should be a really sort of lethal midfield three. Probably a little bit weak in the defensive midfield spot though, so we'll keep an eye out for other people. So we've got Martin van Dongen here, who I think will end up being a very good player, but he's not there yet. He'll end up being a very, very good defensive midfielder, not really sort of, I guess, a deep lane playmaker, but probably more of a destroyer. So, but we'll keep an eye on his development. He's only 18, he's got a couple of years to go yet before he's ready. Yeah, apart from that though, there's not a whole lot of guys really ready to make this step up. We have Mr. Bilal here, and he's actually probably ready to actually start getting some games. So he's 20 years old, playing with, I think it's Braga as an SLB. Braga in Portugal. I think they are. Or is it Benfica? Could be Benfica. Sporting. Oh, I think that's Porto, isn't it? Porto, Sporting. Oh no, there's Braga. Oh, so it must be Benfica. Right, that's Benfica. Alrighty, cool. Cool. Right, so he's playing with Benfica, which is fine. And yeah, so he's actually quite a good player. A little bit more development to go as well, another star or so to go. So he could end up being a very good player. So if Robin or someone gets injured, he's actually probably a pretty good, second choice, or probably just as good as Quincy Promes there. But apart from that, though, we've got Shea Nunnally, who obviously is playing at Ajax. He's 18, going to be a very, very good player, but he's not quite there yet. So keep an eye on his development. Apart from that, there's not really anyone else ready to make the step up to the first squad, unfortunately. Zivkovic could end up being a good striker for us. 21. He's on loan somewhere at the moment. I can't remember. Doing quite well. He's actually developing up quite well, I think. I'm actually probably quite keen to actually use him next season with Ajax, and if that happens, we may end up actually bringing him into the Dutch squad, and may sort of necessitate us changing over to like maybe a complete forward rather than the deep laying forward that we have at the moment. But yeah, so that could be good. And sort of a few other people here and there, so no one really amazing yet. So I'm keeping an eye out, maybe there's someone that's been missed or something like that. A lot of good players in the under-19s as well, a whole bunch of Ajax players, obviously, because we have a lot of talent in the Ajax squad, which is good. Gil Sameo, once he develops up, so obviously only 18, he's going to be the number one for Ajax and Holland for years to come. He's going to be an absolute machine. So that would be good, but he obviously is probably a couple of years away before really getting there yet, so I think there's some good talent coming through. I think there's quite a bit of talent, which is good. It's really going to help that I can actually start actually shaping this talent as well, this sort of Dutch talent. So actually also help that I can maybe poach some of these guys, some of the better players that maybe I'm not aware of, haven't been aware of in these sort of squads. I'll actually be able to get an eye on them and actually probably pick them up and bring them into Ajax and develop them, and that's going to help us and help the Holland squad as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I want to do now. I'll set up the tactics and stuff off screen. It's going to be the same as with Ajax, by the way, guys, so the same sort of tactics and stuff there, so that's fine. And yeah, I'll do a bunch of scouting in terms of other players that may be missed or not playing at the moment, all that kind of stuff, so I'll do that, and we'll probably come back to you Holland a bit later. So obviously, like I mentioned, there's not a whole lot of games. Got a game against Colombia in 21 days, so that'll be our first game as Holland, which could be a lot of fun. I'm quite excited actually to be playing as Holland. Alrighty, with Ajax, jumping back to Ajax, we've got a game against PSV, then a Dutch Cup, a game against AZ, and then a home game against PSG. So that should be massive. So what I think I'll do, I might run into the PSV game. I'll show you that one, guys. So it's only a few days away. So Boyleson, lack of first team football. Yeah, you haven't been playing much, have you? So Dykes has been playing well. So unfortunately, I think maybe Boyleson could end up leaving us this season. He's doing quite well, but he just hasn't developed up anymore. He's been nerfed a bit on this year's Football Manager. Probably actually used to develop up a little bit better than this, but he's a little bit, like he's very offensive minded, but he's really prone to mistakes, like his positioning and composure and concentration and decisions are all really quite weak, which is unfortunate. So yeah, anyway, we'll say this, I'll give you a few games. This shouldn't be a problem. Ask Shoney to intervene. Not really sure if this ever helps, but I don't think it can't hurt really to ask the captain to have a chat to him and see if he can help out. Yeah, so we'll play through the PSV game. I'll skip through the Dutch Cup and the AZ games, and we'll pick the video up after that with the home game against PSG, so that should be good. Good. PSV scouting, yeah. So they're doing a bit better this year. They had a really bad season last season. Only finished mid-table, which was very bad for PSV. There's no one there at the moment, which is fine. Cool. It was a home game. I think we're going to play our main tactic. We're not going to go on the defense. We're going to go out and play our best tactic and see what we can go. Yep, fine, over. Alrighty. So we're still on top. We're on top by, what, 5 points with a game in hand. So really doing quite well. So that is good. Hopefully we can get another win here and we'll be on top by, what, 8 points with a game. Well, 8 points with even, so even games. So that would be awesome if that happens. Which I'm sure it will. I'm sure we'll win. We always win because they're awesome. Alrighty, cool, cool. Fine, fine, fine. Alrighty, game day, which is good. So we'll jump into this. I'm not going to do any scouting or stuff about PSV. We know what sort of the formation they play. Hasn't really changed a whole lot, which is fine. So, what we're going to do here, so do a little bit of a quick pick to get most of these guys back in. I'm a little bit torn about playing Silas, and I want to get him back into the team, but obviously he's only just coming back, so I think we're going to give him one more rest. We'll take him out and put Stan Van Bladeren in. So definitely by the PSG game, Silas will be back. So I just want to make sure we don't injure him again. Alright, Klaassen as well. Klaassen, not going to risk him. Donny van der Beek's too low in conditioning. Same with Milik. Same with Karsdorp and Sviatchenko. So they haven't really recovered from the last game, which obviously wasn't all that long ago. So we're going to play a bunch of other guys. So Vigev's going to play on the right. Sort of our only other guy given... Oh no, Van Ryn's back, isn't he? He's low in conditioning as well, though, isn't he? Alrighty, we'll start Van Ryn, and we'll probably put Vigeva in as a sub somewhere in a minute. And we'll probably replace Van Ryn at halftime. Just get a little bit of his match conditioning up, or match sharpness up, so that he'll be ready for you know, the rest of the games throughout the season, which will be good. Boyleson will start because he's been a bit of a whinger, so we'll start Christopher Ayer. I think, yes, he's low on conditioning. El Ghazi's going to start up top. Sam de Jong, I think, out on the right, or maybe it should be Lasse Schöne. No, it's going to be Sam de Jong out on the right. Fischer on the left, yes, because Yunus was down. Attacking midfielder, I want to play Nemanja G, but he's a little low on conditioning, so I'm thinking... to either Sinkgraven, not Sinkgraven, probably John Houseade is going to play that attacking role. Then I'm thinking Ruben Jensen in that box-to-box. Should be good. Vigeva is coming in as a sub. Alrighty, centre-back. So Veltman's injured, isn't he? Alright, so Hendricks is going to start. He can play the left. Oops. Oops, there we go. Yep, that didn't change anything. No, it didn't. Cool. Alright, so Hendricks can play on left. What about Wesley Hoyt? He's injured, isn't he? So we've got Sviatchenko. He's probably our only other option, isn't he? Yep. Even though he's down on conditioning, that's, I guess, going to have to be good enough. Alright, so that's going to be our full team. We need a few more subs. So we'll bring in Rick Karsdorp. Oh no, not Rick Karsdorp. We'll bring in Donny van den Beek and probably Yunus as well. Play a few different roles. Alrighty, so a few of our guys down in conditioning, which is unavoidable, but that's fine, we will overcome. Alrighty, so, yep, so they're actually playing a 4-4-1-1, which is fine. It's not really going to matter in terms of our formation or anything. Don't have to make any major changes to there, which is okay. I'm actually going to say expect nothing but a win. Put the pressure on the guys, make sure they perform. Cool, cool. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back at the end of the game with the result. Okay, a disappointing 2-1 loss. There was a bit of a smash and grab early on from PSV, and then they sort of sat back and we just couldn't break them down. Some of our defenders had an absolute mare of a game. So Hendricks and Boyleson in particular had absolute shockers. And yeah, that was very, very disappointing. So anyway, that's life. It's the first game we've lost this season. So I guess life goes on. I'm not really going to analyse it too much at the moment. I think I'd rather, given we're 19.5 minutes on the episode, I think I'd actually rather get through to the PSG game and get into that one. I don't think there's pretty much anything tactically. I think we just had a bad game. So we're still on top by 3 points, which is fine. Like I said, it was our first win, so I'm not too concerned. Obviously, you're going to lose games here and there. And PSV are playing quite well, so that is okay. Alrighty guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video and we will... yeah, fans devastated. Alright, that's fair enough. We will be back at the PSG game, so I'll skip through the next Dutch Cup and Eredivisie games, and yeah, we'll be back shortly, guys. Okay everyone, it is game day against PSG, so I should run through a couple of things before we get into that game. Firstly, we had a 2-1 victory over FC Eindhoven in the Dutch Cup and a nil draw against AZ, so disappointing result against AZ, especially they're sitting at the bottom end of the table. A couple of sort of dodgy results in the Eredivisie lately, the loss to PSV and the draw to AZ, so going to keep an eye on that, make sure it's not a sort of a pattern or a loss of form or anything, so I'll keep an eye on that. Alright, next thing we're going to cover is the Holland squad. So I've actually been through and made a bunch of changes here. So we do have a friendly against Colombia in 8 days, so I've basically redone the squad for that. So what we've done, we've brought in Sillerson as our #1 goalkeeper. We've moved Vermeer out of the squad. So Tim Krul and Jerome Zoet, however you pronounce, I don't know how you pronounce that, Jerome Z. They're pretty much sort of fairly similar, and so Sillerson's going to be our #1. These two guys are going to be our backup goalies. For right back, we've got DeReam and Kenny T as our 2 right backs. Our 2 left backs are going to be Dykes and Riedewald. Centre backs are going to be Sven van Beek, Stefan de Vrij, Martins Indy, and we've actually brought in Veltman and moved Karim Rekic out of the squad. So even though Veltman's injured for another day, it's actually not another 8 days until the game, like I said, so I'm fairly confident we'll be able to get his conditioning up if we need him, although he's not going to be first choice anyway. So first choice will be de Vrij and Martins Indy for the game, and Veltman's going to be a backup, so there we go. Alright, so defensive mid, we've made a couple of changes. So we've brought Daley Blind into the squad, so I'm not quite sure why he wasn't. Maybe he was injured or something last time around, but he can obviously be a very, very versatile player, so he's playing a bunch of positions. He's probably going to be used at either defensive mid or a sort of a central mid, either deep line playmaker or maybe a box-to-box. So he's a really good option to have there. We've also brought in Buzzwell, who obviously everyone will know from his time at Ajax. So he's also a really good option at defensive mid or central mid as well. So a couple of different options there. So good to have those guys in the squad. Alright, so for the other 2 central mid spots, we've got Schneider and Classy, probably going to be the 2 attacking midfielder guys. And then for like the box-to-box, we've got a couple of options, maybe Strootman. Then I suppose we even use like Buzzwell or Blind there. We've also got Klaas and brought him into the squad again. He's quite a versatile player through the middle, so he's a good one to have there. For our attacking midfielders on the right, we've got Robin on the right's first choice and backed up by Quincy Promes, and then on the left we've got Memphis and he's backed up by Jean-Paul. So striking is the area that I'm actually really happy with the Holland squad. I've actually been through, had a look at all the under-19s, under-21s. There's a lot of talent coming through, which is really quite pleasing. A lot of Ajax players in here as well. So I think it's actually a really good, I think Holland's in a fairly good spot. They've got a lot of really good players, young players mixed with some good experience. So I'm actually quite pleased. I think we're actually quite confident about going quite well over the next, few years, so that should be quite good. But the area that we do lack is strikers. So what I've actually done, I've actually brought in Zivkovic. He's actually going to start, so he's going to get his first cap for the Netherlands national team, or the Dutch national team, so he's actually going to start. He's probably a little bit off development in terms of being a starter, but he's still quite a good player, so obviously he's at Ajax and he's out on loan at the moment, so I think he's going to be very, very good. So he's going to be our star. I've actually brought in Sam de Jong as backup striker. So I know it's not his natural role, but I think he will do very, very well there. He usually does well in most places. So he's going to be a backup striker. So if you look at the national pool, if we look at attackers, so the strikers here, sort of the players that have led the line over the last sort of few years for Holland have been like Van Persie and Huntelaar and even Van Wolfswinkel and players like that. They're sort of past it now. Their physicals have just gone and they're just not up to that level anymore. So we're gonna have to bring through a new sort of generation, but unfortunately they're probably a year or 2 away from really being ready. Like Zivkovic is a good example of that. Probably needs another year or 2 of football to sort of be up to the level of leading the line. I think the future of the striking position for Holland is Gil Sameo, but he's obviously only 18. There's probably another 2 years of development. He's going to be an absolute machine though, so once we develop him up a little bit, he's off the ball, anticipation and first touch, he's going to be an absolute machine. So that'd be good. But apart from that, there's actually not a huge amount of talent really coming through. There's a few guys here and there. Who did I pick up? So we've got Dilrosun, 19 years old. He's probably not really up to, I don't think he's probably ever going to be really like a first team striker for the national team. Also Chris Smith, who's 18 as well. I don't think he's not really going back to it either. So there's really sort of only a couple of options in Zivkovic. I suppose El Ghazi could play there. He has been doing fairly well. He's another option I suppose we could use. So if we might give Zivkovic a go in the first friendly and then El Ghazi go in the second friendly and just see how they go. And yeah, probably Gil Sameo is going to be a long-term option. So players like Luke de Jong, he's probably be like the mainstay for the next year or two before these sort of younger guys come through, but obviously he's injured for 3 to 4 weeks, so he's not going to be able to play. Alright guys, so that's all the stuff for the Dutch national team. We'll obviously run through the friendly against Colombia once we get to it, but today is all about PSG. So we're going to play our defensive formation here, even though we're at home. I think just given they're sort of a better individual attacking team, we're just going to do that. So we're just going to do a bit of a quick pick, just get some of the players into position. So Veltman's not going to start. He's just not up to it at the moment. So Boylerson's going to start. So unfortunately, Dykes, some of our guys are a little bit down on conditioning because they haven't sort of recovered quick enough. After the last game, I did give them a sort of a day's rest, but there was only like a couple of days in between, so some of our guys are down in conditioning. So Boylerson's going to start, even though he's not sort of the most defensively solid, but that's fine. David Claessen's actually going to start in the sort of attacking midfielder role there. Lasashoni's going to start on the right. Milik, Fisher, that's fine for those two. Central defence, when you put in Sviatchenko, even though he's down on conditioning, he's playing the best out of our other options. So Wesley Hoyt is going to come in as a backup. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anyone else I want to make any changes there too. No, there's not. Cool. Alright, so that's going to be our team for the PSG game, so I'm going to jump into that. So I'm not going to do any analysis on PSG. We've only just obviously played them a couple of weeks ago, so nothing's really changed. Still playing their 4-4-1-1. I'm not going to do any changes here to any sort of opposition instructions. I'm just going to jump into it and sort of see how we go, and I can make any changes from there. I'm actually going to say I went for expecting delivering a result, even though we're underdogs. I'm actually going to put down the faith one, so it seems to work quite well. They seem to like that, some of them. So there we go. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back probably at half time with a progress score. So I'll see you all shortly. Life is good, guys. Life is good. We're 2-0 up at half-time and absolutely dominating. So Milik and Lasashone absolutely having a field day. So they've both scored goals. Shone from a brilliant free kick and Milik from a brilliant finish. I'll show you guys the goals at the end of the game. But yeah, we're doing really well. So do a little bit of analysis, see how we're going, see if there's anything we want to be careful of. I'm expecting PSG to change, so sort of won't read too much into this, but we'll just have a quick look. So this is our tactic. So as you see, PSG not really playing, probably pretty much the same in terms of defensive line. So it shows they're not really sort of deep or they're not really attacking either. So it's a little bit middling, which sort of works for me, which is fine. Sort of our spacing stuff's fine. There's no sort of really skewy positions or anything like that, which is fine. Just look at PSG here. So obviously they've got some bit of the weird thing with some of the subs and stuff coming through. So nothing really. I'm not reading too much into that apart from the defensive line. They're not massively attacking, but not otherwise either. I'm expecting this sort of narrowness is just them swapping positions. I'm not going to read too much into that. Just have a look without the ball for us. There we go. Oops. There we go. So nothing really much changes without the ball. No major problems. Like usually I sort of look for big changes in terms of attacking and then without the ball sort of can indicate maybe a player's getting dragged out of position or having particular trouble in a certain phase of play. So that's kind of some of the things I look for there. But that seems all fine. So just look at some of our passing. Our interceptor passes here, so obviously expect some here from our goalie, given we're playing like the long ball tactic or the counter-attacking tactic. So goalie doesn't pass it short to the defender, so he sort of does kick it long. So a few ones there. I'm not too fussed about any of these. I'm looking for patterns here for numbers. So I see a bunch of 19s here, which is Karsdorp. So I'm going to look at those, and I'll look at a couple of those just to make sure there's no problems there. There's a few Milik passes in there as well. I'm not too worried about most of these though. So have a quick look at a couple of these Karsdorp ones. See what the problem is here. So there's Karsdorp there. So he hits a long ball, which is a little bit weird. There's no real reason for him to do that. He had a couple of different options. So now we're going to investigate a couple of other ones as well. Keep an eye on Karsdorp. So again, that was a really lax pass, which is interesting. So I'm actually going to look at maybe putting him onto less risky passes. So just going to check this one as well. So that was a header, so that's fine. I'm not worried about that, really. Goes down as a pass, but I don't really classify that as a pass. I'm going to check this one lastly. Yeah, okay, that was a little bit iffy. So a few sort of lax passes there. So I'm actually thinking I may put him onto the less risky passes. I'm not seeing a huge sort of cluster of numbers here. There's a few sort of for here and there, but no sort of cluster like we had here. So I'm not too worried about that. All these ones in here are going to be clearances and stuff, so I'm not too worried about those. Quick look at PSG. Actually look at their completed passes. See if I can pick any patterns. There's not really anything in particular. They're getting down the lines a fair bit, which is not too worrying. What about us? Yes, we're actually not getting quite as much penetration as they are. So that's going to be something we have to keep an eye on. Just a quick look at PSG's scoring chances. They only had one, which was a clear-cut. Oh, they had a couple. Clear-cut chance and a couple of half chances. We're going to quickly check out these. I've seen them already. I'm just showing this for your benefit. By the way, guys. So this was a Cavani. So it got in behind the lines. So that was a half chance. Yeah, it wasn't too bad because he'd have a defender sort of onside with him, which is fine. So we're going to check out this one here. Looking for Fred here, number 12. Right, so he made a good run. That was actually a decent chance. Christopher Ayer lost him there. We're going to check this one here, 18. Which is Carlos Vela. Alright, so that was Boyleson, and he didn't sort of pick him up properly, which is probably to be expected given his lack of, his positioning and stats aren't that amazing. So that's okay. I'm not too worried about those. We only had one half chance, which is interesting. We got 2 goals though, which is fine. I'm happy with that. So obviously, we are sort of have to ride our luck a little bit, given PSG's got such a wealth in attack. So I'm expecting them to come onto us a little bit more. Just going to quickly check out the aerial challenges, the lost ones here. So there's a couple lost in our area. I'm not too worried about those. I did sort of see them in play and they weren't too much to worry about. No lost tackles in the middle, which is fine. And missed interceptions, none in the middle. So generally I think we're defending really well, as seen by obviously the fact that it's nil. So that's okay. So we are, what have we done? We haven't done the team talk, so I'm going to say we're pleased and keep it up. Yep, that one. Cool. Everyone seems happy. Just give you the believe in you thing. Alright, there we go. Alright guys, so I don't make any major changes. I'm actually going to put Karsdorp onto less risky passes. See if that helps at all. And pretty much that's it. I'm actually going to, given that we're up, I'm actually going to say distribute to the fullbacks and less risky passes. Just to basically hold on possession a little bit more. Given they're 2-0 up, we don't really need to counterattack as much. We're pretty happy to sort of sit back a little bit more. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video again and we'll be back at the end of the game with hopefully a win. Okay, a 2-1 victory. Very, very, very pleasing to get that victory. So a little bit worried when Cavani scored, but we ended up getting there. Made a few changes. Actually brought on Dykes. Obviously, say there in the 72nd minute for Boyleson. I just thought Boyleson played well, but just thought he was a little bit of a defensive liability there at the end. So I brought him on. Van der Beek for Nemanja G. Nemanja G wasn't playing that well, so we brought on Donny Van der Beek, and then Sinkgraven came on because Fisher had a little bit of a knock and he was down on conditioning. So brought him on. So yeah, really, really quite happy. I think that was really good. PSG sort of did push out at us in the second half, and we managed to contain them fairly well. So I'm going to show you should we continue to the analysis? So as you see here, they had more shots overall, but the same shots on target. We actually won possession, which is really quite surprising for the tactic that we're playing. I'm a little bit surprised that happened, so that is interesting. So I'm going to show you the goals here, guys. This is the first one from Shone. Look at that for a free kick, off the bar. What an absolute screamer. That was a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal for Lasse Shone. Alrighty, so that was the first goal, and then the second goal was Milik, so keep an eye on Milik. So it came from a throw-in, he nicked it off Thiago Silva, and then look at that for a finish, just cool as you like. So it was a mistake by Thiago Silva, came from a throw-in, he missed the interception or missed the ball, and then Milik just stole it off him and absolutely slotted it home. So that was very, very good. Alright, and this is the Cavani one. So actually came from one of ours. So actually, as soon as I saw this play unfold, I'm like, oh, we're in trouble here. Usually, as you can see here, that was the one we lost, so actually we lose it here. But because we're so far forward, we're so pushed so far forward, which generally didn't happen most of the game. It's why we sort of played the counter-attacking tactic. You see our guys starting to drop off there already, but yeah, so that was one. As soon as I saw Cavani there free, I'm like, that's not good. Yeah, so he goes past that guy, and then we sort of, now we're a little bit all open, and then, yeah, and then there we go. That was Cavani, just lost his man. So Sviatchenko lost his man there, and Cavani slotted it home. So I was a little bit worried when that happened, but we ended up clawing our way back into it. And yeah, we ended up shutting the game down fairly well. So it's really, really good. So we've actually got two wins and 2 draws. So actually haven't lost a Champions League game yet, which is pretty amazing. So quite happy with that. That was really, really good. So we've got a couple of games to go. So we've upset PSG. Brilliant. Got another $1 million in the bank for that. So that was good. Milik, yeah, Milik played very, very well. So he's been a little bit of an off-season, although I shouldn't really say that given he's had 12 goals in 13 games. So, and 2 assists, and 3 penalties out of that. So, I suppose maybe I'm thinking last season as well. I suppose he probably actually has played really well this season. So, I think end of last season, he was a little bit down, actually, sort of didn't play quite as well for whatever reason. But obviously, as you see there, he's definitely picked it up. So, I'm completely wrong by saying that. All right, so that's good. So, we've only got 2 more Champions League games left. So, obviously, where are competitions? So, we're 1 point clear of PSG, and we're, 4 points clear of Shakhtar. So, pretty much we should hopefully be able to hold on and get through. As we got through as group winners, that would be amazing, because hopefully, in theory, we should get a weaker team in the first knockout round. But, you know, I'll take either of them. Just get out of the group stage would be brilliant. So, I've got another 2 games left in the Champions League. So, we've got away at Shakhtar and then a home one against Hoffenheim. So probably the away at Shakhtar, I'd be happy with a draw, and at home at Hoffenheim, I'm actually going to expect us to win that one, given that we've already beat them already. I know we had a draw against them. Given we did beat PSG at home, and we've also beaten Shakhtar, we beat Shakhtar at home. I actually expect us to beat Hoffenheim at home. So I'm going to expect us to win all 3 of our home games. And if we get anything in the Shakhtar game, I'll be happy. So that is the plan. Alright, guys, I think what I'll do, I'll skip through the next NEC and NAC Breeder games in the Eredivisie, and we'll pick the video back up again in the Shakhtar game. So we'll be back shortly, guys. Okay, guys, I lied a little bit. I completely forgot that we had the friendly against Colombia, which is today. So I'm actually going to run through that. So just quickly, we won our game against NEC 3-0, which was really good. A really good result there. Sem de Jong and Yunus had brilliant games there. So Sem de Jong was doing really well for the club, which is quite pleasing. So 2 goals, 5 assists in his 11 starts, which is really good. So great to have him back. Alrighty, so we're going to run through this first Holland game, this game against Colombia. We've actually got another one against Egypt in 3 days after this one. So what I think I'll do, given the episode's already ran for a little while, I'll actually run just through this Colombia game, this friendly. Today we'll have a look at the lineup, have a look at how we go, may do a little bit of analysis at the end, see how the tactic and stuff is working, and then I'll actually end the episode and we'll pick up the Egypt game and like the rest of the Ajax games as well after that. So that should be good. Alrighty, so we're going to jump into the Holland game. So it's obviously just a friendly. So it's at a home game for us, so it's in the Netherlands, which is good. Weather's good, pitch is good, which is fine, so we can play our normal game. So they're playing a fairly narrow 4-3-1-2. So we're going to exploit the flanks, play a little bit more narrow, make sure they don't get overloaded in the midfield too much, and we'll try and take advantage of our flank advantage there, our numerical flank advantage. So and jump into the team. So this is what we've got here, a bunch of our guys. So first time we've ever done this. So what we're going to do, we're going to put Silerson as our goalkeeper. We're going to have, I'm not really sure about. All right, I'm not sure if I mentioned this last time. I can't remember. So Vermeer's actually brought into the squad because Tim Krul has been injured. So I've actually brought in Vermeer as our backup. So I actually put in Jerome there. He's going to be our backup goalie. And who are we going to play at right back? So we've only got Daryl Janmat or Kenny T. I think we're going to go for Kenny T. I think he's probably the better player. I guess they're fairly well rounded. I think Daryl Janmat's a good player. Who's in better form, actually, to be honest. Last 5 matches, he's been playing well, hasn't he? Last 5 matches, interesting. Hasn't played a whole lot this season though for Newcastle, which is interesting, a bit surprising. So what about Kenny T? Hasn't played a whole lot either. 5 appearances. Yeah, he's not playing particularly well in the Bundesliga. So we're going to give Daryl Janmat a start at the right back. Put probably Kenny T as a backup, a sub. So subs. We're going to have Martin Zindi and Stefan de Vrij are going to be our 2 subs. So we're going to double check see if they have a side preference. So Martin Zindi doesn't. What about Stefan de Vrij? He doesn't either. Right, so we're just going to play both of them. What about their feet? Does that matter? Very strong on his left. Very strong on his right. All right, we're going to have Martin Zindi on the left and Stefan de Vrij on the right. Alrighty, at left back, we've got, who have we got here, our options? So we've got Daly, Blind, Dykes, and who was else? There was someone else, wasn't there? I swear there was someone else. Riedewald, that's right, Riedewald, playing left back for Arsenal. So I think we can give him a go. Like I used him, like I said, used him as a centre back for Ajax, but he's been playing at left back for Arsenal, doing quite well. He's not really an offensively minded one. I'm actually thinking that's not going to matter too much because this is actually like the support side, so it's not going to be as much of like an attacking. It's not this role doesn't necessarily have to put that much in terms of attacking threat. This is the attacking threat a lot comes down the right. So I'm thinking having a little bit of a defensive left back is not going to be a problem there. Hopefully it means we're a little bit more solid perhaps around the pitch, which should be okay. So deep lane playmaker. We can either basically go for Buzzword or Blind. Blind's a better technical player, the better passer, stuff like that. Although he hasn't got great flair, which is not a problem. He's better like composure, concentration, decision making, determination are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. A little bit let down the physicals. He's got good stamina. His strength's okay, but he's a little bit slow. Whereas Buzzword has better physicals, but probably not quite as developed mentally and technically. So we'll give Blind a run at central mid, at the deep lane playmaker. We'll put Buzzword in as a sub because he's a really good one to have. He can play sort of all through the middle, which is a really good option to have there, which is awesome. So in terms of our midfield roles here, it's probably where we're a little bit lacking in certain areas. So Wesley Sneijder needs a rest. So he's 82% on his conditioning. So we are probably not going to play him there. I'm thinking maybe Klaassen. So alright, so Stefan DeReam's got 45-minute request as well. So this is sort of something I don't really actually manage international teams all that much, to be honest, in Football Manager. So this is a little bit new to me. So it's going to take a little bit of time for me to get to grips with it all. Righty, so it's just international instruction. That's obviously come from his club for 45 minutes. So we can deal with that, obviously, because it's a friendly. It doesn't matter too much. So we'll bring in another centre back, which will be Van Beek, because Veltman's our fourth choice, basically. So for the box-to-box role, we could either basically got Jordy Classy. Streetman needs a rest. He's got 45, so he's not going to play. So I think Jordy Classy is going to play. So he's fully up to fitness, which is awesome. Been playing quite well. He's probably a little bit more of a technical player. Like his strength and stuff's not amazing, but he's got great work rate and teamwork. So I'm thinking he's going to be really good for the box to box. So we'll give him box to box. Right. So our central midfield attack. So Sneijder's needs a rest, and he's also only got the 45-minute rule on there. So probably won't play him for this friendly. I might play him for the next. I think for our attacking midfielder there, we can either put in. It's basically really Klaassen, isn't it? Not really anyone else can play in there. So Klaassen's going to play centre midfield there. Memphis is going to play. He's only 91%, but we'll give him 45 minutes on the left, and then we'll bring in Jean-Paul on the halfway mark. Robin has full fitness, lacks match sharp. He's obviously not playing a whole lot for Bayern, which is interesting. So we'll give him a run at right, and then Zivkovic is going to come in as our striker. So I think we actually bring in everyone for our. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So pick. There we go. Alright, so all of our guys can actually come in because it's friendly. So that works out really well. Cool. Alright guys, so that's going to be our formation. I think it's really good. Everyone's sort of up to fitness. So basically full fitness anyway for you. Sort of low morale in Klaassen and Robin. It's okay. So we're going to jump in. First international game of this save, which is fun. Exciting. See how we go against Colombia. So they're playing that 4-3-1 or 4-3-2-1, I should say, the Christmas tree formation. Sort of like the old AC Milan formation, isn't it? That Ancelotti actually played, and also with Chelsea. He tried to play it for Chelsea for a while, but it didn't really work for them, so that was interesting. Alrighty, yes, like I mentioned, we're kind of trying to exploit the flanks, try and exploit our numerical advantage. We'll play more narrow to make sure our midfield three doesn't get overrun too much. Obviously, they've got a massive midfield advantage, but I think we're going to sort of take our chances. I'm not going to put any instructions on here. We're just going to play out, just given that's our first game, I don't really want to put any opposition instructions because it can change actually the way that your team plays. You actually sort of, not, you can be looking at things that you maybe think are wrong tactically, but actually they're opposition instructions. So that's why I generally like sort of some early games and stuff. I like to not have any, just so I can see how things are going. So especially given this is friendly, the result really doesn't matter at all. So I'd rather do that. So alrighty, so we're going to make a few changes to our tactics. So we're going to play, I think we actually play fairly narrow. We're going to drop at 2 points, and we're also going to go exploit the flanks. We may look at dropping deeper, depending on how much they press. I know Colombia sort of real life end up pressing quite a bit, but I'm not sure how they go. So if our defense is struggling a little bit, we'll drop our defensive line to give our guys a little bit more room. But for now, I think that's going to be fine. Alright guys, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back probably at the end of the game, I reckon. I don't reckon I'll come back at halftime, but probably at the end of the game with a result, and we'll do a little bit of analysis. So I'll see you all soon. Okay, so it was a 1-1 draw. It was an absolutely awful game. In terms of quality, it was rubbish. Neither team played very well. Yeah, as you can see here, where was it? Martins Indy actually scored an own goal for Colombia, and then Sam de Jong, after we made a few substitutions and changed our tactics around a little bit, actually come back and we got the draw. So, yeah, it wasn't a great game. So I'm actually not going to do any analysis. I don't think there was any real benefit in doing that. I think that like our fluidity, our tactical fluidity, was just so low that a lot of our moves and stuff didn't come off. We're sort of really disjointed. Colombia didn't play that well either. So I'm not really going to see a whole lot of benefit in analysing it because it was just a friendly and all that kind of stuff. So may as well leave that for a little bit later on, maybe once we get our tactical fluidity up a little bit, and maybe some competitive games we'll do a little bit more analysis. But for now, we're just going to leave that. So it's okay, I guess, an okay result, a 1-1 draw. We can't complain too much. More questions than answers for Holland. Yep, I agree there. So Holland's obviously not playing too well. Alright guys, like I said, I'm actually going to end the episode here. We've played all the episodes gone for long enough, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the series. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what you think of Holland. If you've got any suggestions about things I could try or anything like that, that would be much appreciated. Alright guys, hope you've all had a wonderful day, and I'll see you all for the next episode.